All right, guys, welcome to another episode. I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar,
We're the Smart Bros.
and this is the Smart Take.
All right, guys, we'll get right into it. So, season's over. No way really to sugarcoat it. Had our game in our divisional round playoff game against the 49ers, and we lost. There's not, and then honestly, there's not really too much to really blame the loss on. There's like a little minor details we can blame the loss on, but at the end of the day, Dak Prescott did not play well enough for us to win that game. The defense played well enough. CeeDee Lamb played well enough. Our running backs, until Tony Pollard did get hurt, which was an enormous blow. And so at that point, our running backs did not play well enough. But that's when we needed him to step up, be able to win that game for us. And he had honestly wanted another, after having his best game of his career, having back to one of the worst games. He was late on a lot of throws, threw 2 interceptions, and like we've been saying all year, we just cannot have had that in the playoffs, and it finally came back to bite us to where there's no coming back from it. How do you feel?
Yeah, you pretty much said it. Dak Prescott is the reason we lost this game. I feel like I don't and no and God, if the people on the podcast know, our friends know, I'm a Dak guy. My dad, I'm going back and forth with my dad all year, all season. Dak is good enough. I think we can win with Dak. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him right now, just because I just don't see how you can go from so high to so low that quickly within a week. How do you go from having a 5-touchdown game to a 1-touchdown game and 2 picks? He's just too up and down. He's too inconsistent. And I've told many people this whole offseason, I'm just not going to be defending Dak. I can't. He's proven to me time and time again this season that he doesn't deserve for me to defend him. And so I just can't do it. I'm very disappointed in him. I guess it doesn't make him no difference, but as a Cowboys fan, it just sucks seeing the team that we had, what we could have done. It sucked being, we should have done this, we could have done this. I personally didn't say it's our year this year, but I know a majority of our fans did, and I know we're just so tired of having to say, well, next year then. Well, next year. It should have been this year. I truly believe Dak didn't even have to play a great game. He could have played a decent game and we win that game. Our defense held Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel to very regular games. George Kittle had that one long touchdown or one long catch. Other than that, it's not like he just went crazy against us. Brock Purdy, like you said in the last episode, that he was going to look like a rookie QB. He looked like a rookie QB at times. And if you would have told me our defense would have done what they were going to do that game, there's just no way I would have thought that we would be losing that game. So, but if you had to say somebody else other than Dak, whose fault it was, who would you say?
If I had to pick anyone that I would blame that loss on, it would have to be Kellen Moore, because that play calling was, questionable is an understatement. There was a couple plays that stick out in particular, or there was a 2nd and 2, and the backfield was empty. It was when Dak threw his pick. I don't even know why we're throwing the ball in that situation. At the very least, we should be running some type of play action. We should be running the backfield shouldn't be empty on 2nd and 2, driving down the field, going into the red zone. So
we were actually in the red zone, I think.
Yeah. So that play question, and then there was another play. It was on our last drive. Our gotta have it drive. We need a touchdown. We need to put points on the board right here. It's 1st and 10, and everyone's running 6-7 yard curls. And I don't know how many times that was a play, but just from seeing things on Twitter and just seeing breakdowns, there were multiple times where all 4 receivers on the field are running curls. And like I've said before, that plays a part into why Dak Prescott had so many interceptions. Our receivers were running so many interceptable routes, as well as not creating any separation on those routes. So, and I agree. I won't be using this offseason to defend Dak Prescott in this game because, like we said, he did not play well enough, and he didn't even need to play amazing for us to win that game. But one thing I will not do, I will not sit by all offseason and see him compared to the likes of Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, and people like that. I'm just not going to do that. That's not where we are. Kirk Cousins has been in the league for over 10 years and hasn't done what Dak has done. Daniel Jones is just not it. Daniel Jones, he was in the playoffs this year. He lost his playoff game. I mean, I don't know they got killed by the Eagles. It wasn't even close. So I don't know. People are going to use this as a lot of bait to throw a lot of hate at Dak, and that's just one thing I'm not going to stand for. Well, I can agree he played awful in this game, and even this season ending the way it did, I won't even be defending that. But as a career, I'm just not going to let that happen. So that's just where I am with Dak at this point. And who would you have to say was the least or the biggest reason why we lost that game?
Other than Dak, I'm just such a Diggs guy that it just sucks. I don't even know if I'd say we lost because of him, but there was just too many. He's still not tackling or not even trying to tackle. I'll give it to him. They don't throw his way. Great, I can give you that. Yeah, he dropped a big pick, and I saw a video of him and Jay on Kurtz. They're talking. He said he couldn't even see it and ended up just like hitting them. But he's our sure-handed DB, and it's just. That's a momentum. Everything changes if he gets that pick, I feel like, because they end up scoring like the next play after that. And then he didn't give up the pass to Kittle, but he definitely could have changed the outcome. He could have came and hit him, or even hypothetically speaking, if he got a flag, that's better than however long the catch was. So I just he hasn't showed up. I feel like he guards pretty well. He guards great. I have no issues with the way he guards. He's not tackling, and it's just like sometimes I feel like, is Diggs even playing right now? He just becomes he makes himself such a non-factor. I don't know when this started. So it's like, if he's not getting picks, is he helping us? So yeah, I agree with what you said when you said Kellen Moore, because our play calling, he's just as inconsistent as Dak. Like against Tampa Bay, great play call. CeeDee Lamb wide open on that touchdown. And then we look at this game, we have a comeback from injury, Michael Gallup running a 10-yard curl, who he's not making no separation. You didn't add no double moves to it. And then he's not even going to come back to the ball. So don't get me wrong, Dax doesn't throw that because he obviously has no space. He's not creating any type. And so it's just like, why are you throwing that ball? But in the same token, Michael Gallup still has to be a receiver. You still have to go. Sometimes you have to bail your quarterback out, just like sometimes your quarterback has to bail your receiver out. And by him not coming back to the ball, just gives him a free lane to go get a pick. Like at the very least, that should have been incompletion. But I don't know. But I don't know why we all just run curls. I don't know what that's about. Another thing I agree with, Tony Pollard getting hurt in the second quarter. You can't really make up for that because, like we all know, Zeke is just not the same Zeke he was as a rookie. But who's the same player they were 7 years ago? He's just not going to be that's just how it works. And especially as a running back who has been a workhorse for us for the last 7 years. And I'm still a Zeke guy. I don't know what we're gonna do with him. If we can restructure his contract, then maybe. But it's just not looking good for him right now. And so, but if I definitely would have to say Diggs. But with that being said, we talked about who we think is the reason we lost. Who do you think, even though of course we still lost, who do you think was the reason we had even a chance to win this game?
I'd have to say CeeDee Lamb, because at the end of the day, like you said, Michael Gallup, I honestly, speaking on that pick, I completely blame that pick on Michael Gallup, because in the past, we've asked Dak Prescott to anticipate throws, lead this receiver, put the ball where the receiver is going to be, not where he's at. On a curl route, where are you supposed to put the ball? It might have been a little late. I saw some breakdowns, but that's where he's supposed to put the ball. If Michael Gallup doesn't finish the route, then what is he going to do? At least, like you said, help him out, even if he's not going to be able to catch the ball. Don't just give up, let the defender run the route and take it. If that defender doesn't have to jump, he might be able to break a tackle with right there and take that to the house. But Like he just has to complete his routes, and like I can't be mad at Dak if we're gonna ask him to anticipate throws at the same time. Just be mad when the receiver doesn't complete that route. But I'd have to say it was CeeDee Lamb being the reason we had the best chance to win, just because I mean he was our only receiver that did anything. Like the drop off after CeeDee Lamb in that game was ridiculous. I mean the drop off after CeeDee Lamb versus the drop off after the other number one receivers that are even that have made that made the playoffs in general, but definitely that are still in the playoffs, it's not even close. It's very clear why other teams are still playing and we aren't, regardless of quarterback play. Because you can't tell me with even as bad as that played, if he has receivers like Devontae Smith or T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk or like those as his second guy to get open, he wouldn't be making better passes. I mean, that's just me. So it's like I feel like our front office dropped the ball there, but so CeeDee Lamb did whatever he could. He was being double teamed. They knew he was our only option, especially after Tony Pollard got hurt. He was our only explosive player. So I mean, he still went out there and performed. So who would you say was the best reason we had to win that game?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. CeeDee Lamb. He was the only person we had over 28 yards receiving. How does that happen? Like one player over 28 yards, Dalton Schultz. Like he loved those Schultz. Does that mean that's another reason, like it's Dak's fault that we lost, but you also have to think, who is he throwing it to? Michael Gallup, our second receiver, 0 catches. You can't win like that. You know, that's another reason I have no clue. I just will never understand why we got rid of Amari Cooper for a man coming off an ACL injury who was already not even a route runner, more of a deep ball threat. And then we don't even go deep. So it's just like, if that just 1 + 1 = 2, huh? And right now it's equaling 3. Why are we having a man who's not a route runner, who's coming off an ACL injury, asking him to run routes when we had one of the best route runners in the league? And you can see what Dak did when we had both of them. He had one of his best seasons, 37 touchdowns, only 10 picks. And that's another thing. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be defending Dak, but this pick thing, I don't know where it came from. This is not Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Regardless of, like, people have never said he's a turnover prone, you know? He's more conservative. He always, you know, he'll take a sack before he throws a pick sometime. And when we ask him to stop taking so many sacks and throw the ball, he throws picks sometime. And now just like, we can't win either way. So but like I said, I'm not here to defend Dak. I just don't, I definitely have to say CeeDee Lamb because, like you said, he was the only receiver who did anything. He was the only person who did anything. He had 100+ yards, even while being double teamed. We could have scored on that one long pass he caught for the 50-yarder. Dak underthrew him a little bit, but I mean, he threw it pretty much as far as he could.
Yeah, he literally threw it from the goal line
there like the 2-yard line.
Yeah, it was like dang near the goal line to the 50, 60-yard line. So he hit it out, and it wasn't even like he didn't even get like a full drop back, to put all he could into it. So I mean, he got it there. CD caught it, and it just sucked. We couldn't build any momentum off that play.
Yeah, I just when I saw that happen, I got so hyped because it seemed like one of those plays that you just been waiting for all game. We just need one of those kind of explosive plays. And then I just felt like we would have got the ball rolling, the offense would have started rolling, and we just didn't. And then it just went downhill from there. But before we get out of here, we definitely need to bring it up. Turpin, he could have scored, man.
Yeah.
All he had to do was bounce to the outside.
Yeah, multiple different routes, and he took the only one that didn't. He
had 3 routes. He could have went left, which would have went right across Robbie Gould's face. He could have went in the middle, which obviously he did, or he could have went to the outside to the right.
Yeah,
and he picked the only option that would have gotten him tackled, and I just can't believe it.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
That would we were waiting for a Turpin touchdown all season. If we would have. That would have been the one right there. Right after their touchdown, we would have woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's all we can say at this point.
I'm so disappointed because we could have beat this team, and that's how. And I know everybody feels the same way. It wasn't even, they didn't even kill us. That's the thing. Our defense played amazing.
They
Our defense
played as
played
hard as
even better than I thought they would.
they held those dudes for as long as they could. But at some point, you're not just gonna shut out teams every week like
Especially not
that.
a team with that many weapons.
Yeah, because like I said, Brock Purdy, that's a system quarterback if I've ever seen one. Their offense is set up to where they have such a great offensive line and they have such great weapons that he just sits back in the pocket until George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, or Christian McCaffrey gets open. One of them is going to get open eventually. That's
You
it.
just
And
can't guard them all.
you can't
And
go, and that
we
we held them.
did.
That's what I'm saying. One of them is going to get open in the span of a 4-quarter game. Eventually, we held them for as long as we could. But George Kittle got open. Chris McCaffrey is the one who scored that touchdown. Like they're gonna do something. So we have to do something. But at the end of the day, Dak had what he had, and it's been enough some weeks, but against that defense and that day with the play he had, it just was not enough.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, guys, it is what it is. We can't go back. We just gotta look to the off season to get better, I guess. We're gonna make a video of our whole season recap so we can just talk about everything that happened the whole season. We can talk about all our coaches, our players, all this and that, everything that's going on in the off season. But keep liking, keep commenting, keep subscribing. We're still gonna do videos. We're still figuring out what we're gonna do after since the season's ending, but we're still going to make videos, still have a podcast for sure. So with that being said, like I said, keep liking, keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep sharing. But take us out.
All right, guys. I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar.
We're the Smart Bros.
And this is the Smart Take.